Um, Good morning, everyone. Greetings. Because it's Sunday, I will say greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you for being here. I am just going to introduce our team and introduce the Prof. Our team was actually approached and tasked with the hearings on Hammanskraal water challenges. On my far right, I have Dumizulu Nkanyane. Nkwanyane, yes. Dumizulu Nkwanyane is one of the community members and the community activists. He's been working on this for quite some time. We have also on my right Peter Graham, who is one of the thank you. Is someone who's very knowledgeable around water issues, water purification, and is one of our experts. We on my left we have Prof. Letswalo, who is our chairperson. He will speak a bit on the work that we have done so far and how long it's going to take for us to produce a comprehensive report. And then on my far left, I have Mr. Sinepi Tobakhale, who's from the tribal community, is representing the chiefs and the kings in the communities around Hammanskraal. I am Tembelani Gentile, one of the pastors and concerned citizens in Tshwane. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry that we are meeting here outside instead of getting inside. We would have loved to be inside there, but we were told that we can't get in and inspect the place and look at what's going on there, what needs to be done in order for the people of Hammanskraal to get clean water. So I'm afraid we will have this press conference right outside here. Now I'm going to give over to Prof to just give us an overview when we started and where we are right now and how long is it going to take for us to produce the report. Over to you, Prof.
Thanks very much for the brief overview. And I'm saying good morning to everyone present here. We had 2 days of full participation of the Hammanskraal community with their complaints about the water problem in Hammanskraal area. And we have been informed that there has been contamination, pollution of this water, and this problem came over from 2005 to this very moment. The SA Action, or Action SA, gave the mandate to this commission of inquiry in order to assist the members of the community in Hammanskraal to see a way forward towards the solution of this long outstanding problem. We're fortunate to have in our midst in the 2 days a number of experts, water experts, those doing the research on the type of water that we also have in Hammanskraal, and it was found out that there are many problems at this plant behind us here. And it must also be emphasized that the Commission had to write to the mayor of the Tshwane city, or City of Tshwane, to attend the commission of inquiry. And as to the plight of the Hammanskraal citizens or members of the community, unfortunately, despite several correspondences, there has not been any response from the desk of the City of Tshwane mayor. And to our surprise, yesterday, a councillor, Mr. Kotsie, came forward uninvited to come and explain his part in the solution of this problem that has been long outstanding. The experts I referred to were, among others, Dr. Mlefe, who is in the Department of Chemistry, and with his team that we're doing the research on the type of water that it's now drunk by the members of the community in Hammanskraal. And we also had one expert, and Mr. Victor, who also explained the problems that we are encountering at this plant behind us here. The major problem is that this is a plant that could service few people when it was established. Now, the population is increased to such an extent that the plant can no longer service the number of people who have to be served with the water system here. It was to our dismay and disappointment that, specifically mentioning the dates or the years 2015, 2016, members of the community indicated that there were fragments of excrement, human excrement, in the water that they had to get through their taps, and unfortunately that has not been cured to this very moment. And we also had to take the community through, and those who were present, and the obligations, the duties of the municipalities, including the City of Tshwane, in terms of sections 4, in terms of section 5 and 6 and 20 of the Municipal Systems Act 2000, as to the obligations that the city had to undergo. This is also reminiscent of the fact that in terms of section 195 of the Constitution, there is a broad outline of the way in which public administration has to exercise its obligations, execute its duties. And unfortunately, despite the fact that the emphasis is laid on the term must in all those provisions in section 195 of the Constitution, nothing has been done in as far as the community of Hammanskraal is concerned. And the point that was much emphasized was this, that in respect of the obligations of the municipalities, as well as all those organs of state and the local government and the structures of government, we emphasized the terms responsiveness, transparency, as well as accountability. All these three principles are embodied in the Constitution. You find them in section 1, subsection D of the Constitution. You find the same principles in section 41, subsection 1C of the Constitution. You find the same principles again in the referred to section 195, subsection 1A, subsection 1 F and subsection 1G. It is regrettable that despite the fact that we had this problem, the water problem in the community of Hammanskraal for almost 16 years, since 2005 to date, nothing has been done, and it was revealed, disclosed to us, that in the year 2018, some 295 million rand was assigned to this project for the purification and the improvement of the plant in Rooiwal. To date, nothing has been done, and it is disclosed to us again that it seems this money has disappeared into what it's now called the corruption principle in South Africa. The aim of this commission of inquiry, it's not to promote any political activities of any political party, but only to find out what the solution could be for the plight of these people in Hammanskraal. After this commission of inquiry has collected all the evidence and the comments from the people of Hammanskraal and the experts, a report will be compiled by the commission and will be submitted to Action SA, who will then be responsible to take it over to the City of Tshwane, be it the mayor or the council itself, and thereafter, if ever the recommendations are not taken through, the aim is now to take the matter to court in order to get a remedy or a redress of the grievances of the people of Hammanskraal. And we are aware of the fact that, and we know that the courts are the ones now to remedy any grievances of the people in Hammanskraal, because the judiciary, in terms of section 165 of the Constitution, is independent, and it's not attached to the state in any way, but it's the one that will have to address the grievances or any complaints that the people have with regard to the rights, their rights being infringed upon in any way by the state or by any organs of state. Because in terms of section 7 subsection 2 of the Constitution, it is the duty, the obligation of the state organs to respect, to implement, and also to ensure that the rights in the Constitution, as contained in sections 9 through section 35, are complied with, are respected, and the citizens don't get into problems with their rights. We are talking here especially in terms of section 27, subsection 1B of the Constitution, which refers to each and every person, including the people at Hammanskraal, to be entitled to sufficient water. But in this instance, it's not a question of saying that they haven't got sufficient water only. It's no sufficient water, and again, the water is so badly contaminated that it is not suitable for human consumption. It was also indicated that even if there are any tankers that supply water to the people in Hammanskraal, the complaint that we received from members of the community was that the tankers are selective in as far as the members of the community are concerned. Cronies or friends of those who are supplying the water tankers are the ones preferred to the other members of the community. Therefore, there is an infringement of this section 27 subsection 1b, in that there is no sufficient water. And apart from that, I repeat, the water has been so polluted, the water has been so contaminated that it is unsuitable for any human consumption. I've already indicated that there were complaints from 2015 to 2016 that there were sediments, fragments of human excrement or waste in the water system, be it from the pipes or anywhere else. And then there's also a lot of seepage of water into the ground, in terms of which some people of the community, even if they don't have the taps from the area where the toilets are the ones that could have the excrement, they have their pit toilets, but their taps would also contain the human waste, and that also caused an outcry. And unfortunately, we have learned that not much has been done in this regard. Yes, we heard that, yes, the Commission, Human Rights Commission, also had a probe into this problem, but to this minute, there has not been any way forward. And then the dismay also that we had was the fact that some forums in the community, which were also invited, had to drop out in the very last minute because there were threats that if ever they join hands with this commission of inquiry, then they would not be helped any further by the council or even by the mayoral desk. Unfortunately, this is the position which cannot be perceived as nothing, but it also shows that there is also fear among the people of Hammanskraal. We also heard about some threats to members of the community from other people or those who are in power, so that they don't come forward in order to address this issue. Now, there was also a word circulating that the desk of the mayor was also having some mind of getting to have this problem solved, but there has not been any indication where this 295 million rand is at this moment. And so what is important, it's an action. We have the expression, actions speak louder than words. And unfortunately, there has been lip service paid to this problem of the water supply and the purification thereof ever since 2005 to date. And that's why we are taking this commission further to say, if ever there's nothing further, that it's now done by the desk of the mayor as well as the other structures in the community. This matter will finally land in the hands of the courts for redress of the grievances of the community. Now, with these few words, I think I have given the broad outline of what transpired in the first 2 days from Friday to yesterday, Saturday, and to gather the information that is required to take us forward in this issue.
Thank you, Prof. As Prof was saying, I just wanted to, give an outline of the people that we had, Prof, if you don't mind, just before we can give to Action SA. We had about 4 categories of submissions. The first one, as Prof said, it was submission by experts. We had people like Attorney Alfie Masenya, who has been a legal representative of Hammanskraal community. We have had Dr. DM Mulefe, who is a senior lecturer in chemistry. Mr. Victor Wengali, who is head of operations at Singakwazi Aid. Those were some of the experts who came forward, but also had submissions by community members, where people will stand and tell us about their experiences. And it was really shocking to hear that some are still being billed for water that they are not even drinking. Whilst the city is billing them, they also have to buy water from the tanks. They pay about 200 rands to fill the tank. But also we had a submission by governance experts such as Mr. Prince Mashele, who spoke on his perspectives on the City of Tshwane and municipalities in general and the country in general, in fact. And then we had submissions by civil society, where we got submissions from informal traders. They told us how water or the contaminated water is affecting their businesses. And then we had the tribal authority will send its written submissions. We had the early childhood development and NGOs giving us their submissions. We had Sanko in Hammanskraal also giving us submissions into the water scarcity in Hammanskraal. So in fact, if I may mention, Prof, that one of the early childhood development presenters said to us that the kids can't drink that water, the water that they receive. They actually charge the parents for taking care of their kids, but also they ask the parents to bring water to school or to the creches. So we found those things very disturbing, and I think the report will talk to some of those. Prof, I think I'm done from my side. Oh, we have also had submission by Action SA as the people who approached us, and then we had to ask Ntate Mashaba several questions around this. And because all of us here are not members of Action SA, so he had to appear and tell us what is it that made them to think of having a commission. I will now ask him to speak for himself and for Action SA, and thereafter we'll take questions.
Thank you very much, panel. We are deeply touched by your involvement and engagement with people of Hammanskraal and Rooiwal area the last 2 days. We are truly grateful for you accepting this huge responsibility. The responsibility affecting people of Hammanskraal, the farmers and the Rooiwal communities for the last 16 years. As I indicated to you yesterday that I was born and raised in Hammanskraal. I grew up going to school. Some days the only food one could have was to drink water from the taps in the 70s and 80s. And I only left Hammanskraal in January 1985. And at the time, we did not even know that one can buy water. And at the same time, when I left Hammanskraal, when I was growing up, the community of Hammanskraal, people who did not work were those who did not want to work. Listening to the people over the last 2 days was like, you would really wish it was a horror movie. It was not real. It was not something that is happening 16 years into a democratic dispensation. We went through, as all of you are aware, through a difficult period as people of African descent over the last 300 years plus, another 70 years under the apartheid regime. But if one looks at it in reflection, the last 16 years, particularly poor communities, are the biggest victims of the new democratic South Africa. Why poor people are being severely punished in this manner, it's something that only government can explain. Because People of Hammanskraal and Rooiwal are not just really facing contaminated water. They are facing massive health challenges. Listening to the doctor from the university giving us an overview of the studies that they've done regarding the quality of the water of Hammanskraal, the toxicity thereof. One says to himself, is this not genocide? Is this not genocide? And I had this discussion last night with my wife. I said, in cases where you remember the panel, Nelly Sibopa indicated to us as one of the contributors on Friday about living in a community where a young, desperate person would really steal a television set from one of the community members. The community will mobilize and ensure that this person is caught and this person be killed by the community. But he says, I live also in the community where we are seeing mass murder, because it was after the submission by Dr. from the university where some of the cases of this toxic water can lead to miscarriages, pregnant women losing their children. Then what does one actually explain such a situation? And then at the same time, people of Hammanskraal have got to buy water. One lady, in fact not one, more than one, relating to us of her financial position, financial situation. You can imagine you have to really decide as a community, as a family. You've got to decide buying or bread or meal than buying water. Because you can imagine being put into that situation. Hammanskraal, Babelech industrial area, when I grew up, it used to employ millions of people of Hammanskraal. People of Hammanskraal, when I grew up, those who did not work were those who did not want to work. Go to Hammanskraal today. What is the unemployment rate? I think Stats SA can tell us the unemployment rate in Hammanskraal. My own assessment, you have 70, 80 percent unemployment rate in that community. But now you can imagine you have a community with such high unemployment, but at the same time you have a government that expects them to buy water. And actually making matters even worse, not to buy water, improperly billed for water that they did not receive. You can imagine being forced getting monthly bills of water that is contaminated, water that is not suitable for human consumption. For me, thank you very much for your role in assisting in this matter. When people of Hammanskraal approached us for our intervention, my personal feeling managed to convince my colleagues to say, look, this is an investment that we are making for this country. Let us get prominent ethical South Africans to assist us in getting deep into this matter. And we're really so grateful of the 2 days. Fortunate enough, I spent the full 2 days from beginning up to the end. So right now, we're looking forward to receiving the full report with your recommendation, because we've had experts who were denied access into this facility. But fortunate enough, some of them have got the necessary expertise, because what we will do as Action SA, we will ensure through the PI process that we get access to this tender that was afforded or given to this particular company, so that we understand the 295 million rands where it went to. They've obviously made a mistake, because by refusing us entry today, unfortunately for them, just over a month ago, we were allowed to go in there and spoke to some of the officials. Not much work has been done. Not much work has been done. We heard yesterday from Mr. X, the company appointed to do this work is a company that has got absolutely no knowledge whatsoever what they are doing in this. So they were just given the 295 million rands, but they don't have the money for that. So It's something that we will have to, fortunately enough, Prof, using the constitution of this country, will use the courts to assist us in getting and finding remedy to this. We will first obviously give the municipality of Tshwane an opportunity to remedy the situation. But in the event of them not really cooperating, we are not going to waste time. We don't have time on our side. We've got pregnant women out there in Hammanskraal with the possibility of losing their children. You can imagine cases like this. One of the ladies actually talking about families breaking up because of the situation of water, where you don't have the young, beautiful women, girls in the homes, you can never get water. These are human rights abuses of the highest order that cannot really be tolerated in a democratic South Africa. So if this government actually have a belief that some of us will keep quiet, unfortunately, South Africans have had enough. We've been abused for 16 years, and we are not going to be abused any further. So we will use the courts in the event that we don't really get the cooperation. So we are looking forward to receiving the report. We'll give you time. You will inform us as to when that report will be ready. From there, then, it'll be our responsibility as Action SA to ensure that there is implementation of that report. Through the city doing their work or asking the courts to allow us with the community to take over this facility and ensure that people of Hammanskraal can get clean and drinkable water, because this country has got more than enough capacity and experience and to ensure that people of Hammanskraal can get clean and drinkable water. Thank you very much from our side. We truly appreciate this, not just for people of Hammanskraal, but for people of South Africa, because this exercise will be used as a case study for other municipalities, because it's not only people of Hammanskraal who have been failed. Yeah. People are being failed all across the country. So this work that you've carried out the last 2 days will go down in history for its engagement and the intervention. So from my side, once more, thank you very much for the role that you've really played, and we shall await your report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dad. If there are any questions that you would love to bring, we can take one or two. Yeah. Yeah. When I was introducing our team, I forgot to mention our secretariat, Mrs. Krishni Pillai. Unfortunately, her son is admitted in hospital this morning. We are praying for her. If there are any questions, you are free to ask before we can. Yes, us.
Responded to by us.
Okay, if you don't mind, Prof says they are the most appropriate people to respond, because they are the ones who invited the mayor, not us as
Thank you very much. And I may say that now, as I've said in my address, the commission is not geared at any political achievements, etc., or any association of that sort. Even if Action SA is the one that asked for this commission of inquiry, it's not the one that is running the inquiry, and it's not the one that had to write to those who were supposed to be attending. The commission wrote to the mayor, the commission wrote to the South African Human Rights branch in Pretoria, and other stakeholders. So the only reason that we received from the mayor was that because of the fact that they have their own inquiry, they don't want to be part of this sort of sidelined inquiry. But now, as far as the Human Rights Commission is concerned, they said now, because they've concluded their part, they're encouraging, and they are still encouraging the community members to attend. And that's why those who attended on Friday as well as on Saturday. And that was commendable on the part of the members of the community, of those who were able to come.
And the report that's going to be tabled, do you have a time frame as to when it's going to be?
We are planning to have the report within the next 2 weeks because of the fact that there is still information that has to filter through. And I can also say that on the program, for instance, on Friday or even yesterday, we had the slot for the Farmers Association. But unfortunately, for 1 or 2 reasons, they couldn't come. And now they are here today, and we are going to give them a voice. They can talk, and then so that they can indicate how they are affected by the contaminated water in the Hammanskraal area, as well as the source, that is Rooiwal, to which we were not even given access to by the mayor's office, and which was denied to us point blank. No reasons given, because we could say this is a facility to which the community or the whoever it's entitled to can visit. So we will be giving the Farmers Association the chance also to give us their input on the effect of this water scarcity and contaminated water on their lands, and that will also be welcome for the inclusion in the report that is supposed to be tabled.
Can the farmers, if we can have someone from, yeah, come say and just explain to us some of the work that you have already done.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hendrik van Staren. I speak on behalf of the Apies Rivier as well as the Pienaar Rivier and Rooiwal Dam communities. And I must emphasize that we are apolitical. We don't support any political party or any political organization. And I can also say that we are working together with Tumelo, who is a very prominent community member in Hammanskraal, as to ensure that we all act together united in the best interest of everyone in this area, as well as the Republic of South Africa. As we previously had, Ex unitate virus, eendrag maak mag. When everyone works together, Ubuntu, that's when things get done. Because if everyone is working on his own, nothing is going to get done. As correctly said, this problem has been coming from 2005. There's been various communique with the City of Tshwane, and it must be kept in mind that it's not just Hammanskraal in absentia, but Hammanskraal, Pienaar Rivier, Rooiwal Dam, Apies Rivier, all of them are an integral part of each other. And without one of them being right, the others won't function at all. Because it's directly due to Rooiwal that are putting influence into the Apies River that the Temba water works are overflooded. They're not able to do their work. And that unfortunately the city doesn't understand that dishing out tenders to have people bussing out water is much more expensive than rectifying it, ring fencing the money that is there supposed to be for the water sewage works. And then also, due to that, they are also stifling any development and work creation or job creation in South Africa. I personally know Babalege as well. There's people that's got clothing factories there. They cannot wash the clothes, so they are now people without jobs. There's people that want to develop here north of the Apies River, this area, but they cannot, because the infrastructure is not there to promote any big developments. Not just housing, but also factories, etc. And this is known, but it's still, I'm flabbergasted that the Tshwane municipality have got a 3-year expansion going on here to the north of Tshwane, but they've got a 5-year project for the sewage works to get it in place. How can you expand if your sewage works and your infrastructure is not in place beforehand? Otherwise you're going to get a problem. And that all leads to a problem where there's no job creation, less taxes are being paid because there's no economic activity. It leads to ill health, as was touched on here. Here on my left, there's also Mr. Vogel, who's one of the farmers here, Mr. Kobusvel, also from Rooiwal Wastewater and from Pienaar River. They've got workers on the farms who are residing next to the river, which is contaminated. Those children want to play at the river. They cannot harvest. The water is so contaminated in even the borals that they cannot even use it for human consumption or consumption of animals. And we've got the test results. We've got the water results. We've got the results from the ground monsters as well. It is criminal. And the City of Tshwane is aware of it. Previously there has been court cases by certain organizations. But my problem is people sometimes make court actions just to get publicity. That's not the aim. The aim for a court action should be to work towards a goal, an objective, and ensure that what is wrong is rectified.
Yeah.
Mr. Vogel has been used as a face before, but the people who make the decisions have failed him. And that is totally unacceptable. And it's not just Mr. Vogel. The latest reports we got from the soil monsters is that it will take 100 years for his ground to get right again as it used to be before getting contaminated.
Sure.
The city council already spent more than R1 million to clean his irrigation dam. What are they doing? They just continue it. This past week, we had a minister here, and I saw also a video clip with Mr. Philip Nel from the City of Tshwane, and Hannes Kutsie was also there. All up in smiles and saying that things are going well, which is an absolute lie. We've got evidence that before they came here, they cleaned the areas by just letting effluent flow into the vlei that's down here, and we've got videos of it, and we've got photos of it, just to when the minister come here, make it as if everything is fine and everything is running well. I have before made, in August 2019, I did appear before the Human Rights Commission. I had to make a submission before Boang Jones. And also on the 26th of February, I made a submission on behalf of the communities. And I also touched on the Hammanskraal aspect because they are so integrated with each other.
Yeah.
I know the Human Rights Commission are currently still compiling their report. And then it was highlighted again that despite the politicians knowing what's wrong, they just continue. No matter who's in control, it's just as if they are just doing it for a show. If you go now to the belperse, which are supposed to dry everything and make sure that the whole process is done, they're not working. What is blackhead? What was mentioned in the State Capture Commission? What are they doing here? Because we've received reports that every time that people come and visit, there's an eye blind. Things are started up, but we've got evidence that those things are not working. Why are we paying these millions for nothing that's happening? People are sick all along this river. The river is sick, and we're not gonna be able to heal the river if drastic action is not taken. Unfortunately, it will ensure that we'll have to go to the courts because there's no other options anymore. For many years, the farmers have been told, no, we will sort it out, we will sort it out. But nothing is being done. And if one does not start taking legal action and putting pressure on the local municipality, nothing will get done. I'm also concerned that they are not allowing the communities the opportunity to monitor what is happening. The communities just want to monitor and see that everything is going well. Because the politicians must understand, they're working for us. We're not working for them. We elected them to monitor and check that things are going well because we believe in them. Unfortunately, it looks like many politicians are only in this game for our own political benefit and not in the best interest of the communities, which is totally unacceptable. And I'm sure that by working together, we will be able to rectify everything that's happening here. But I also want to make a statement here. The communities had a meeting also before, about 3 weeks back, and a decision was taken that we are going to start a non-profit company. Mr. Kobus Vel, that's at the back, already started reserving the name of the company so that we can engage the City Council on behalf of the communities as an apolitical organization. I can tell you there's a director from the Hammanskraal community on it. There will be a director from the Pienaar River on it and Rooiwal Dam, and there will be a director from the Apies River.
Okay.
So that no one can come and point fingers and say, but you are from political party X.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk to you. Because we as the community, doesn't matter which language you speak, which color you are, we are all affected by it. And in the longer run, who's the people that are pocketing? Those people that are connected with the tenders for delivering water, those people that get us vastly inflated tenders. I spoke to Mr. Corrie, I think Corrie's surname is Snyman. He worked here for 54 years at Rooiwal Water Treatment. We can turn this thing around by only doing small improvements, small payments. But what happened? Instead of paying 6,000 rand for something, they pay 8,000 or even 20,000. He also thought, I can also make an example. Previously, they used to go and get toxins from the stores, which were purchased at a higher price than what you could buy it at a local corporation, Ubaru. So they increased the budget of 100%, but then they put something out on tender. Now the price is 150% more. So actually, even if you increase the budget, you are paying much more.
Yeah.
So what does it help to just throw money at something?
Okay.
It will be much better if the communities, as we envisage on working together in the best interest, we will be allowed to monitor and engage with the City Council and say, but A, B, C, D is not right. Because this thing, that there's always not a full-time city manager appointed, it's shooting the whole community in the foot.
Okay, thank you, sir. We want to ask that you, if it's possible with you, if you can give us some of the technical reports that you have. You'll talk to Mr. Graham after here. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If in the absence of any questions, thank you very much for coming, and we pray that you have a wonderful Sunday. God bless. Prof, you forgot your protection. Yo,
people are saying it's going to take another more 3 years for the water to be clean. So we're asking ourselves, is it possible for us as people to consume that kind of water? So do we have to wait another 3 years? And we have trucks that are supplying water all over, but Renview, it's a place where we don't even get one truck.
It affects me a lot, like as a father of 3 and then like unemployed and all that. It's like I'm not blaming the water for me being unemployed. It's like I can't afford to buy water. If there is free basic water, as a human you have rights to consume clean water, you understand?
It affected me a lot because physically it affects my skin, psychologically it will affect you. It affects us. If I buy white clothes and I wash it with this water, Hammanskraal, this clothing becomes to be creamy white, not white. It's due because of contamination in the momenti.
Sarona fela ka re bahudu tsantse re nomete a school le wana re baballa bophelo ba rona ha mmoho le bana ba rona mpotsa nako e yotlhe re dutse mo metse a ntse le ditsila re lwa ka wona re lwana so ne re kopa hore ba re etsetse molemo hore le rona re tle re kgone hore re be le bokamoso re kgone ho phela re philele bana ba rona ba re philele hore metsi ra kopa ka nnete hore a